which just came in. He tells me that gross operating profit was just over $9,038,000 compared with $3,438,000 for the same period a year ago when I was still partners with Holiday Inns and they were managing the facility. Not too bad, I say to Steve, considering we still don't have any parking. Still, I can't resist razzing him a little. Now all you've got to do is get the hotel in mint condition. I'm a stickler for cleanliness, and last time I visited the hotel, I wasn't totally happy. We're working on it, Donald, Steve says good-naturedly. It's already improving. 12 o'clock noon, I walk over to the Woolman rink to watch the pouring of the concrete. This morning, all of the papers had stories about our press conference. When I get to the rink, it's surrounded by a convoy of cement trucks lined up as if they're in a military operation. HRH, the construction company in charge of the project, has done a fantastic job moving things along, but this has to be the most incredible sight yet. Thousands of pounds of wet concrete being poured from truck after truck into this huge rink. It's like watching the world's biggest cake get iced. Even though the press conference was yesterday, I noticed photographers and camera crews all over the place. This is the event everyone was waiting for. 1:30 p.m., I sit down with a reporter from Fortune who is doing a story about real estate and the new tax laws. With me on the cover. Contrary to what a lot of people think, I don't enjoy doing press. I've been asked the same questions a million times now, and I don't particularly like talking about my personal life. Nonetheless, I understand that getting press can be very helpful in making deals, and I don't mind talking about them. I just try to be very selective. Norma must turn down 20 requests a week from all over the world. Also, when I do give an interview, I always keep it short. This reporter is in and out in less than 20 minutes. If I didn't limit myself, I could spend my life talking to the press. 2:45 p.m. A friend of mine, a highly successful and very well-known painter, calls to say hello and to invite me to an opening. I get a great kick out of this guy because, unlike some artists I've met, he's totally unpretentious. A few months back, he invited me to come to his studio. We were standing around talking when all of a sudden he said to me, "Do you want to see me earn $25,000 before lunch?" "Sure," I said, having no idea what he meant. He picked up a large open bucket of paint and splashed some on a piece of canvas stretched on the floor. Then he picked up another bucket containing a different color and splashed some of that on the canvas. He did this 4 times, and it took him perhaps 2 minutes. When he was done, he turned to me and said, "Well, that's it. I've just earned $25,000. Let's go to lunch." He was smiling, but he was also absolutely serious. His point was that plenty of collectors wouldn't know the difference between his 2-minute art and the paintings he really cares about. They were just interested in buying his name. I've always felt that a lot of modern art is a con, and that the most successful painters are often better salesmen and promoters than they are artists. I sometimes wonder what would happen if collectors knew what I knew about my friend's work that afternoon. The art world is so ridiculous that the revelation might even make his paintings more valuable. Not that my friend is about to risk finding out. 4 p.m. A group of us meet in our conference room to go over the latest plans for the West Side Yards project, which we're scheduled to show to the city tomorrow morning. It turns out that Herb Sturtz of the Planning Commission won't be able to attend, but his key people will be there. There are perhaps 15 people at this meeting, including Robert and Harvey Freeman, and Alexander Cooper and his team. Alex is the architect city planner I hired 2 months ago to take over the design of the project after it became clear that my original architect, Helmut John, just wasn't making it with the city. I don't know if the reason was his Germanic style or the fact that he is based in Chicago rather than New York, or just that he's a little too slick. I do know that he wasn't getting anywhere with the City Planning Commission. Alex, by contrast, was formerly a city planner himself, and he's almost a legend in that office. He's also the guy who designed Battery Park City, which has gotten great press. Politically, he's a much better choice than Helmut John, and I'm a very practical guy. We've been meeting like this every week for the past couple of months to hash out a broad plan, including where to locate the residential buildings, the streets, the parks, and the shopping mall. Today, Alex has brought preliminary drawings of the layout we've agreed on. At the southern end are the prospective NBC studios, adjacent to the world's tallest building. Then, heading north, there are the residential buildings, facing east over a boulevard and west over a huge 8-block-long shopping mall and out at the river. Every apartment has a great view, which I believe is critical. I am very happy with the new layout, and Alex seems happy too. I happen to think the tall buildings are what will make this project special, but I'm not naive about zoning. Eventually, I know we're going to have to make some concessions. On the other hand, if the city won't approve something I think makes sense economically, I'll just wait for the next administration and try again. This site is only going to get more valuable. 6 p.m. I excuse myself because I'm due at an early dinner, and it's not the kind to be late for. Ivana and I have been invited by John Cardinal O'Connor to have dinner at St. Patrick's Cathedral. 7 p.m. No matter whom you've met over the years, there is something incredible about sitting down to dinner with the Cardinal and a half dozen of his top bishops and priests in a private dining room at St. Patrick's Cathedral. It's hard not to be a little awed. We talk about politics, the city, real estate, and a half dozen other subjects, and it's a fascinating evening. As we leave, I tell Ivana how impressed I am with the Cardinal. He's not only a man of great warmth, he's also a businessman with great political instincts. Friday, 6:30 a.m. I'm leafing through the New York Times when I come to a huge picture of the concrete being poured onto Woolman Rink. It's on the front page of the second section. This story just won't quit. 9:15 a.m. We meet with the city on the West Side Yards project. Almost everyone from yesterday's meeting is there, and we are joined by 4 city planners, including Rebecca Robinson and Con Howe, who are directly in charge of evaluating our project. Alex does the presentation, and he's very good. Mostly he emphasizes the things we know the city is going to like: the public parks, the easy access to the waterfront, the ways we've devised to move traffic in and out. The only time the density issue comes up, how tall the buildings will be, Alex just says we're still working it out. When it's over, we all agree it went very well. 10:30 a.m., I go back to my office for a meeting to discuss progress on construction at Trump Park, the condominium I'm building out of the steel shell of the Barbizon Plaza Hotel on Central Park South. It's an incredible location, and the building we're redoing will be a great success. The meeting includes Frank Williams, my architect on the project, Andrew Weiss, the project manager, and Blanche Sprague, an executive vice president who is in charge of sales. Frank, who is very soft-spoken, is a fine architect. Blanchette, my nickname for her, is a classic. She's got a mouth that won't quit, which is probably why she's so good at sales. I like to tell her that she must be a very tough woman to live with. The truth is, I get a great kick out of her. We start by talking about what color to use on the frames of the windows. Details like these make all the difference in the look and ambience of a building. After almost a half hour, we finally agree on a light beige that will blend right into the color of the stone. I happen to like earth tones. They are richer and more elegant than primary colors. 11 a.m., Frank Williams leaves, and we turn to a discussion of the demolition work at Trump Park. Andy tells me it's not finished and that the contractor has just given us a $175,000 bill for extras. Extras are the costs a contractor adds to his original bid every time you request any change in the plan you initially agreed on. You have to be very rough and very tough with most contractors, or they'll take the shirt right off your back. I pick up the phone and dial the guy in charge of demolition at Trump Park. Steve, I say when I get him, this is Donald Trump. Listen, you've got to get your ass moving and get finished. You're behind. I want you to get personally involved in this. He starts to give me explanations, but I cut him off. I don't want to know. I just want you to get the job done and get out. And listen, Steve, you're killing me on these extras. I don't want you to deal with Andy anymore on the extras. I want you to deal with me personally. If you try screwing me on this job, you won't be getting a second chance. I'll never hire you again. My second concern is the laying of floors. I ask Andy for the number of our concrete guy. Okay, I say, only half joking. I'm going to take my life in my hands now. Concrete guys can be extremely rough. I get the number 2 guy on the line. Look, I say to him, your boss wanted this contract very badly. I was set to give it to someone else, but he told me he'd do a great job. I walked the site yesterday, and the patches you're making aren't level with the existing concrete. In some places, they're as much as a quarter inch off. The guy doesn't have any response, so I keep talking. Nobody has the potential to give you more work in the future than Trump. I'm going to be building when everyone else has gone bust. So do me a favor. Get this thing done right. This time, the guy has a response. Every guy on the job is a pro, he says. We've given you our best men, Mr. Trump. Good. I say, call me later and let me know how you're doing. 12 o'clock, noon. Alan Greenberg calls to tell me that Holiday has gone ahead and enacted some poison pill provisions that will weigh the company down with debt and make it much less attractive as a takeover target. I'm not worried. No poison pill is going to keep me from going after Holiday Inn if that's what I decide I want to do. The market is still taking a drubbing. It was off 80 points yesterday, and it's down another 25 today. But Holiday is off only a point. Alan tells me that we've now bought almost 5% of the company, 12:15 p.m. Blanche stays on after Andy leaves to get me to choose a print advertisement for Trump Park. She shows me a half dozen choices, and I don't like any of them. She is furious. Blanche wants to use a line drawing that shows the building and its panoramic views of Central Park. I like the idea of a line drawing, I tell her, but I don't like these. Also, I want a drawing that shows more of the building. Central Park is great, but in the end, I'm not selling a park, I'm selling a building and apartments. 12:30 p.m., Norma comes in, carrying a huge pile of forms I have to sign as part of my application for a Nevada gaming license. While I'm signing, Norma asks who I want to use as character references. I think for a minute and tell her to put down General Pete Dawkins, a great Army football hero, a terrific guy, and a good friend who's now an investment banker at Shearson, Benjamin Holloway, chairman and CEO of Equitable Real Estate Group, and Conrad Stevenson of Chase Manhattan Bank. Also, I tell Norma, put down John Cardinal O'Connor. 12:45 p.m. Ivana rings. She's in the office and wants me to go with her to see another school we're considering sending our daughter to next fall. Come on, Donald, she says, you haven't got anything else to do. Sometimes I think she really believes it. Actually, honey, I'm a little busy right now, I tell her. It doesn't work. 3 minutes later, she's in my office, tugging at my sleeve. I finish signing the forms, and we go. 2:30 p.m., Bill Fugazi calls. I like to call him Willie the Fug, but he doesn't seem to appreciate it. Fugazi's business is limousines, but he really should have been a broker. The guy knows everyone. He's one of Lee Iacocce's best friends, and he's the person who recommended to the Cardinal that he meet with me to discuss real estate and get